This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Well, hello, good morning, and welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, and this is the AgYield War Room. I, of course, am AgYield's marketing manager, everyone's favorite backup host, and super fan of Australian rock outfit King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Jack Coakley. If you have any questions or comments today, and that's a real band, I didn't make that up. If you have any questions or comments today, feel free to join the discussion. Post a comment anywhere you see fit. We're always answering comments and questions at info@agyield.com. Let's shoot it over to Brian with some overnight numbers.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning, everybody. A little bit higher on the whole complex. Excuse me. Last night, D's corn up a penny and a quarter at 421. No beans up 3.5 at 1034 and a quarter, and D's Chicago wheat up 1 1/4 at 501 1/2. And as of yesterday, we're a little bit over 65% discovered for crop insurance for this month. Corn is averaging 419, and beans are at 1022. So we'll see if this little bit of a uptick continues through the day today.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Brian. And while we're on the subject, let's remain on Brian. I had a question come through my desk yesterday. People asked me, Jack, is there any truth to some of your intro stuff? And there certainly is. You know, I would say all of it is true. For example, yesterday I told our audience that I was Brian's preferred companion for a tandem bicycle ride, which I think got some attention. So I, out of the kindness of my heart, Brian, I hope it's okay, I shared the photo we took of our last tandem bicycle ride. Let me get it up here. Oh, there it is.
Oh my God. That's exactly what it looked like.
Oh my God. Just so many good times.
You can just leave your headset on. Yeah, man.
Right? Yeah. I don't leave home without it.
We're just always working, you know? We don't even go home and change. We go straight on the bike from work. So.
I think the smiles on our face, I think we ran into Landon or something on his bike.
Absolutely. So anyway, well, so that's the end of my rambling. Let's talk grain markets. Dustin, we'll start with you, and we'll work it around the room.
Hard to follow that. So we're having a little bit of a rally overnight. We're back to 421. You know, we're 65% through the October pricing period for crop insurance. So 2/3 priced. We talked a lot about this in the letter last night that, you know, back in August, there's reasons to kind of root the market to go lower, go find that demand, you know, trigger all these payments that would otherwise be there, right? We had a really strong farm bill by then. We have active insurance at a much higher price than that. You know, we were trading 392 at that low in August. We have a 470 price point. So 5% loss of revenue through either price or yield. It's a combination of both for those higher end policies that were highly subsidized this year. We had a huge number of acres. I think it was like 48 million acres of ECO elected this year. So there was reason for many growers to kind of benefit from prices staying really low through that period of time. And, you know, there's reasons to kind of not market, as Justin was talking about yesterday. We were thinking the opposite at the time. It's like we want to let things fall if they're going to fall and trigger those payments, but certainly don't sell into a 395 or 390 price at the time, because the risk would be that you have that as your sales price and the market goes back up to 420, 430, which is really kind of one of the worst spots to be. As far as like slightly elevated yields, no insurance payments, unknown farm bill payments, if anything at all, unknown MFP payments still. So I think this is just such a critical time that we want to make sure we mention that it's almost the exact opposite of what it was in August, where we were kind of rooting for the market to go down. Now we really want it to go higher if we're talking about an unsold farmer position. What does that mean? That means we probably ought to think about our downside risks, right? It might not even necessarily mean selling corn, but just at least know that you have some sort of floor on the market. And there's lots of ways to do this, right? It doesn't have to be so black and white as to sell or not sell. But one of the worst things I think could happen is that we settle around this 420 average for insurance. And then we go take out the lows and trade in the high threes. Like a 370 price at this point would probably be pretty painful. You think if you got 200 bushels out there that are not marketed, that's, $100 an acre down to 370. That's not going to be covered by crop insurance now. So there's some things that I think need to probably be discussed as we close out the month of October. Just making sure we kind of draw those lines of what kind of risk you want to take on. And, I still think that from a fundamental side, too many acres is probably a concern of ours still.
Certainly. Justin, let's shoot it over to you and get some of your thoughts.
Yeah, similar thoughts. I think another, just to add to Dustin's thought there too is, PLC, is a good price floor, but it's kind of tricky. You have to kind of time it around like your needs, your storage, all the above. And then you don't really know that PLC price for quite some time. And so if you misalign with like when you need to, move grain, have cash, and then wait for the PLC price to be, determined and paid next September. It's a nice benefit to have for sure. And it should be included in how you market, but it should be in addition to, for all the reasons I just talked about. Just kind of looking at, we've talked a lot about different things on here. But if you just look at like 430 for D's corn, it's kind of that level that was really hard to get below last fall for this December 25 contract. We tried it twice. We tried it, kind of first notice day September, tried it first notice day December of last year. And it really couldn't get below that until 4th of July, going into 4th of July weekend. And since 4th of July weekend, which obviously is the pollination window, we haven't really been successful at getting back above there. So it's just kind of one of those levels that, what have we known since then? We've gained more acres than we thought at that time. We have, a lot of production. Again, we've talked about in the show, you can argue yield, obviously, but we're still going to have a lot of production. We're still going to have a lot of bushels. So it's a level where, my opinion, as this is expiring, it's a good area that, to Dustin's point, get coverage, whether that's, selling, if you've had, basis rise, which areas have had decent basis levels and carries have come in, and that you have to move a certain amount of bushels, like get some decent coverage on and buy some cheap call options out to whatever time frame you want. It's the cheapest calls have been relatively for a long time. So the price levels, if we have lots of growers that have close to record yields, right? So that's already a known. It's not that you don't know what your yields are anymore. That's known, and we know that crop insurance is gone. So once you know your yield, marketing is much easier, right? It's one more major factor to take out of the equation. And so when you have flat prices that are decent and really low option vol, it gives you a lot of ways to manage that risk. So not to beat a dead horse here, but that's really what I think you should be doing.
Yeah, certainly. Jason, anything to add on top of everything we've been discussing so far?
No, agree with Dustin and Justin. Technically sitting right at those moving averages we talked about. So December corn right now, 420.5, which is right at the 100-day. Outsides, stocks are a little higher. Just nervous markets in general. Obviously, everybody kind of waiting to see the next headline tweet from Trump, or I think he came out yesterday and said I might not even meet with Xi. That would be fine, and then he'll come back and say, oh yeah, no, meeting's still on, and the market's barely moved on that stuff really, so they're getting kind of numb to it. I just, I don't want to reiterate what Justin and Dustin said. Agree with them completely. From a farmer perspective, this is a crucial time in our opinion. We've been doing just a lot of those meetings around that, right? Say, okay, crop insurance expiring. maybe do some PLC estimates of what that looks like, and then figure out how much of that gap do we want to fill, and how do we do it? How does it fit with your logistics, cash flow needs, all these different things. We didn't mention this, but it was going around, right? Secretary Rollins came out and said that they're gonna, get some money moving into the farmers' hands. I don't know the particulars of it. They said they're going to open up some of the critical USDA programs. Talked about maybe releasing some reports. Don't have any details on that either. Don't know if you guys saw anything, but
Well, they're opening up all the FSA offices, which is good. So
yeah. Well, some of the loan programs, I think, is what a lot of people have been waiting on. A lot of people get the, government loan right now. So I know that's probably a huge thing that she's been hearing, but outside of that, that's all I got, Jack.
Works for me. Anything else, guys, before we shoot it over to Ryland for livestock?
Yeah, I would just add on, kind of just jump on the boat here with just all our guys, looking at they're getting some good yields coming through. A lot of guys have some premium contracts on hand, like as Justin said, basis is staying strong in a lot of areas here. So, just to kind of free up some space, get some cash flow needs met. I'm having those guys kind of look at basis. So if anyone's looking, if they do have some premium contracts on hand to free up some space, get some cash, just give us a call and we can look into your area for you.
Love that. Thanks, Brian. I was about to pull up the little give us a call. Like I said, like Dan always plugs, we're here to look over your operation and look at your data, and or you can call me. I can talk about marketing stuff with you, whatever the case may be. So,
well, I would say to add to that, I think the reason we're seeing that is because the mentality shifted 30, 45 days ago, that the USDA is way too big, crop's not there, and then that mentality's been locked in. We're going to store, we're going to wait this thing out, yada, yada, yada. So that's what's causing, in my opinion, these things to happen, is we're seeing record amount of bushels being put in storage, and I completely get why. But if you get to where it's not really paying you to store it like it was 60 days ago, especially if you have a high, interest rate and you have to service your loan and you need cash flow, don't get into a situation where everybody has the same idea at the same time. Like, oh, I really need money by, pick a date, November 15th, December 1st, January 1st. And then everybody has, the same kind of cash flow needs, and just selling for cash is where you could get, and one of our fears is really wide basis levels, wide spreads again, around those 1 to 2 week windows where everybody has the same need and has to move at the same time.
Yeah, especially with the river levels. I mean, in Memphis right now, it's like 8.5 feet below threshold. It looks to go down below 10 by mid-November. So if we come back online and there is some deals met, I think everything's going to widen out pretty considerably.
Yeah, no matter what you think the yield is, there's a lot of bushels at this time of year, right? So if you have to move in that first 3 months, there's a lot of bushels no matter how you slice it. So don't get caught where you have to move at a certain time. If you know that you have to do that, at least plan that out and not have to do it at that time. So.
Love it. Great stuff, guys. Ryland, let's shoot it over to you and talk about the mates.
Alrighty. Well, market's still kind of in recovery mode in both places right now. So everything kind of closed in the green, but overall still haven't seen much on the cash side of things. I think overall the market's still relatively optimistic. So just waiting for maybe some bids from the Packers to start rolling out here. There's been a lot of chatter just about what's known, or what Secretary Rawlings referred to as the big package, going with the goal of incentivizing opening up new acres for grazing, just to kind of allow this, or incentivize herd expansion over the next several years. So it sounds like they're going to try to open up some new lands for that. Maybe incentivize some new ranchers with some, assistance funds like that to facilitate it, and also building some new processing plants across the country. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of money, made available for these things, or at least a lot of funds. But at this point, no direct payments. I think the industry was pretty adamant about not seeing direct payments right now. So overall, we'll see if there's more details to come. with that in the next several days, maybe in the next several weeks. And we would be getting a cattle on feed report on Friday. The government is closed, but just in case we do open up, we're expecting on feed inventory at 98.1%, placements at 91.3, and marketings at 96.2. So once again, we'll see if anything opens up by Friday. And on the hog side of things, did see that little bounce. But overall, cash still kind of weak here. Cash is down 22 at 89.52. Bellies back up, but still it feels like really haven't seen the bottom just yet. I think seasonally we're still kind of caught in those throws, but we shall see. So maybe we could see a little bit more of this recovery bounce, but some of those fundamentals still pretty weak coming into the day.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Ryland. Looks like we just hit the open. Let's shoot it back to Brian for the opening numbers.
All right, sounds good, Jack. Yeah, Dees corn up penny at 4.20 3/4. No beans up 3 at 10.33 3/4, and Dees Chicago wheat up 1.5 pennies at 5.01 3/4.
Thanks, Brian. And as always, if you are looking to support the show and help us out, and also if you want to make me and Brian as happy as we are in this photo, there's one thing you can do, and that's like and subscribe. It helps us out with the YouTube algorithms, gets our show out to a wider audience. So thanks again for everyone that helps us support the show. We're doing the show every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments from everyone
Looks
today.
like that old show, Ace and Gary, that old cartoon. Superheroes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Hey, I can make those shirts.
I think in
Just
the
need a
prompt, I
cape.
literally
Yeah.
in the prompt for AI, I literally wrote, make this picture embody what it means to be best friends.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. So if you want to see friendships flourish, give us a subscribe. We're doing this every day. The markets are open 8:15 Central Time on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.